speak first.
All right. Our first speaker is, are you introducing him?
You want to go first?
Do you have someone introducing you or no?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Our first speaker is Dylan M. And this is a man that knows about the fun and recovery. So, brings the party with him wherever he goes. So, let's give him some love.
Hello, hello. I'm an addict named Dylan. Can you guys hear me?
Hello.
So I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful that I was asked to speak on this topic. It's kind of like a natural topic for me, so I didn't plan much of anything at all, and sometimes it's better that way, sometimes it's not. And, I just hope that, I can carry a message and that the source that keeps me clean will allow, somebody else to hear something that'll help them, inspire them, help them thrive in their life and their recovery. I grew up and skateboarding was my world, right? I lived, breathed, ate, and slept skateboarding, and that was my life. I loved physical activity, and doing that was just so much fun to me. It was the passion that fueled my life, and this is before using, I'm talking about. And, as kids, and children, we it's really easy to have fun. It's just natural, there's no, limiting beliefs, really, preconceived bullshit. And, then something happens, in life where we get to a point where, somebody tells us that we're not good enough, or, we go through some things, and then, drugs come into the picture, and it's oh, okay, perceptions change. And, for me, I started using in my young adolescent years, and, my shift switched from skateboarding and doing good in school. I still did good in school and all that, but skateboarding was my world. So my world shifted from that to just using drugs, and it happened in the course of a year. By the time I was 15, I knew I had a problem with drugs. I knew I was I didn't know if I called myself an addict, but I knew I had a problem, and I knew I wanted to stop. But at the same time, I just kept fueling it because, all I could think about was that obsession and compulsion to use drugs. And, I would research, different drugs. And I, because it was fun, right? My perception of fun had changed. And, now I had all these things that were, look, oh, I have to look a certain way to impress these people and to fit in with this crowd. All of a sudden, I didn't fit in anymore, and, I had all this fear and worry and self-consciousness, and, I had to fit in with somebody, and, I don't know where that came from, but, drugs were my escape, and drugs were the fun. So, the shift went from, complete, pure fun to artificially sourced. And that's what my life ran on for a long time. And I'm not gonna lie, at first, even though it was fake and I was trying to fit in with people and do this thing and whatever, drugs were fun for a long time, for half of my using, and the last half of it was not fun at all. It was survival. You know what I'm saying? I know you do. Forget how to have fun. And I just want to say the fun train does not stop. It literally just begins, or it restarts when we get clean. But it doesn't restart immediately. It takes some fucking work to get there in order to have fun. And that's going to be the basic premise of what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to tell you some things that I like to do, and but it all comes down to how hard you want to work at your recovery and put in work on yourself in order to be able to get into that mode where you're able to receive fun and able to have fun. It does take work. And I know today that I put in the fucking work, so I'm going to get a result. And that's just how this thing works. You'll get in what you put out of it, or you'll get out of it what you put into it. And so, yeah, man, I forgot to have fun, or I forgot how to have fun, and I forgot what fun was, and I was always in a state of worry about myself and like how I was perceived in other people's eyes, and that is just a shitty place to live, man. And I'm so grateful that I don't have to live like that today. You know, the last 5 years of my active addiction were jails and institutions and demoralizing and doing things that I thought I would never do, and living in ways that I thought I would never live, and crossing that line and getting to all those yets, and doing all that shit that we do in order to make it here eventually. So, you know, I'm actually grateful for all the shit that I've done and the amazing life that I get to live now, because it's like a 180-degree difference from the way that I lived in my active addiction. And it's sometimes I will just go back in my head and think about like sitting in my jail cell bunk, and I'll be like, wow, this is incredible, the life that I get to live today. The freedom that is available to us all is absolutely stunning, and it's I'm just so grateful for it, you know. So yeah, it's really good, man. It's really good. So, you know, I forgot how to have fun. And, you know, at the last week of my active addiction, you know, like I talked about, losing my self-esteem, demoralizing, all that stuff, you know, I was homeless at the end in my last week of using. I did not have any friends left. I had a girlfriend. I had a mom who I didn't have contact with, and I wasn't allowed at her house. Same with my father. I mean, I was probably allowed at his house, but I didn't go there. And, you know, I didn't have any connections left. Nobody wanted to mess with me. Nobody even wanted to sell me dope. It was bad news, man. So I kind of going into my story a little bit here just to fill in some time and kind of make things clear, kind of give you a picture of my life and how things have changed and how I have fun now. Kind of trying to focus on that topic, but so I knew my father would help me if I wanted help, you know, getting clean. So I had a cell phone left. It was my birthday 4 days previous. This was August 8th, 2014. I decided to like call a treatment center or reach out and do something. You know, I needed some help. Like I couldn't live the way I was living anymore. I didn't want to die. Well, I wanted to die, but I didn't want to die, you know? So, yeah. My dad took me to treatment. I still had that cell phone because it was my birthday 4 days earlier, and I got this cell phone for my birthday, and I hadn't pawned it yet. I never had a phone throughout my whole active addiction. My girlfriend had a phone, and that was the one that we used. I didn't have a car like from the time I had one car in my life up until the time I got into recovery when I was 25 years old, and I had it for 3 months. So it was really like I never had shit, you know? Like, I never, ever grew up. I never learned how to do the things that people do growing up and maturing like a man or a woman should. Like, I never learned how to do that. Like, I never figured out, like, those, like, social norms and, like, I felt different than you, so I automatically, like, just like went to the way left field and like did the other thing and made myself feel even worse and different. So, you know, I don't know where this is all coming from, but I'm just flowing with it. Where was I?
Left field.
Left field before that.
You felt different than people. Way left field.
Okay. Cool. I don't remember what I was talking about, but that's all right.
You had a cell phone.
Yeah.
Cell phone.
Oh, a cell phone,
Yeah. So, thanks for the help. I appreciate it. So, when I get into recovery, right, I go through treatment, and, like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Like, I don't know how to stay clean. I don't know that my thoughts are not facts. I don't realize that my thoughts and feelings aren't facts. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'm telling myself, the story inside my head is like, you're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to sustain anything like a normal life. And if you do, you can do it like with a methadone clinic or something like that. And that was the story in my head throughout treatment. And but, you know, the best thing the treatment center that I went to did was they took us to an NA meeting. And, you know, I got that spark of hope there at a Friday meeting in Traverse City, where I'm from. And I'm not from there, but that's where I'm from now. Stayed there after treatment. Like, I saw people having fun, man. Like, I saw people laughing and enjoying their lives. And, Bryce, oh. Casey. And I thought that, like, I don't know if I thought it, but it was just like, oh, they're doing this. And I heard them speaking, you know. I heard them speaking about the way that they used to live and how the way they are now. And I thought, like, oh, hey, if they can do this, like, there was a little glimmer that maybe I could too. And I felt like that in the meeting because I was in this, like, energetic state. Like, and that's why meetings are so important, man. Like, meeting makers make it because they build us up. We help one another. We give each other strength, man. You know, and it's this exchange that's really important. And so I got into that, like, amazing, like, hopeful state while I was in that meeting. And people hugged me and said, yo, welcome. And I felt a part of. And then I'd get back to treatment, I'd be like, fuck, dude, methadone clinic, fuck this. And, you know, it's just not like that today. You know, I don't think like that today. You know, I think messed up thoughts still, but not really like that, or definitely not like that, but not really even anything even similar to that. It's crazy, you know? And, so the point is, like, what I said, about, like, putting in work on yourself and working the steps and, like, doing this shit, like, that is the ticket. Like, because, like, it's really, having fun and feeling good is, like, all about perception. It so is, like, and, you know, it's not like that the world has changed and, like, now I live this amazing life. It's like, no, motherfucker, you've changed. And I did it with the help of you guys. And that is, like, that is the ticket right there. Like, so, you know, I start working the steps with the sponsor after relapsing a couple times, getting out of treatment. You know, I just didn't know what I was doing. And then I finally, you know, started calling before I was falling. I would fall and then call. So now I'm like, okay, I gotta call before I fall. Got it. Did that twice. Thank God that I made it back. Thank God that I still had it in me that I wanted to get clean, because people don't really do that. They, like, go back out and they're gone for years. They go to prison, die, and that's why, like, I always go back to that time when I was in jail, and I'm just, like, just wishing and just dreaming. It was like a pipe dream that I could, like, live a normal life and, like, have fun and do, like, things that regular people do and just have some sense of normalcy. And, like, I have that today and so much more. And that's why I go back to that time when I was in jail and, like, whoa, like, what a trip. Like, I get caught up in thinking, like, oh, I don't have this yet, I don't have that yet, or comparing myself to others. And that's bullshit, you know, because everything that I want is already on its way. And, like, look at how much of a drastic change has occurred since I got here, since that when I was in jail. And if you take an honest look at yourself, you'll definitely see the same things if you've been putting in work. You know, if you've been working the steps with the sponsor. We're, like, really the most harsh critics of ourselves. And, you know, I had a self-esteem issue. So that was, like, the most important thing for me to learn how to fix. And that, like, enabled me to be able to, like, let go and have fun in groups of people and not, like, judge myself and judge others. And that is the key for me. Like, I came into this program still kind of, like, knowing what I like to do. Like, I like to skateboard, I like to snowboard, I like music. And, like, so I already had some shit that I like to do. It was getting me to the point where I was in a state that was that I was able to do those things and enjoy it, because like I said, I had forgotten how to do that shit and have fun with it. Excuse me. Like when I first got clean, you know, I couldn't listen to rap music for a while. Like it just made me want to use. I really couldn't skateboard for a while. Like I didn't know how to do it clean. And there was just something about putting like all my passion into recovery that kind of like, I don't know, like now, like I don't even think about using when I'm skateboarding or something. It's like I just go and have fun, and like recovery is like within my soul and my spirit, and like I take it with me wherever I go, you know, and like I know how to do things like turn shit over and let go and like just like I don't know, like just I don't know, it's crazy. Like I always say that like magic happens when you work the steps, and like I say that because it's like I don't know, it's individual to each person, and it's your own subjective experience, you know, and I just like to call it magic because it is a miracle, you know, and if you believe in miracles, then miracles will happen, and you know what, miracles happen in these rooms, and so I want to touch on some other stuff too, actually. So I told you I liked skateboarding, snowboarding, and music. Like the basic text has, you know, one of my favorite quotes in the basic text is "Lost dreams awaken and new possibilities arise," and I've actually spoke on that before, so it was kind of easy to like be like, oh, I know this kind of topic kind of goes with that kind of topic, and I can kind of like do that. So I had some ideas in the back of my head about what I would talk about. So there was a little mental preparation. I found a lot of new stuff that I like to do when I got clean. Like I figured out that I liked to work out. I didn't actually figure that out. I had to learn how to do it. Like I was always the type of person where I was self-conscious because I was always like a skinny kid, and like I was like I thought like other men were like more masculine than me because like they worked out and shit, and the fact was like I just never did it, so I didn't know what I was doing. And then like I get into recovery and somebody was like, "Oh, you want to go to the gym?" I'm like, "What the fuck?" You know, like I don't know. I don't lift weights. Bro, do you even lift? And so, you know, like today, like I figured out how to do that, and I had fun with a friend that took me to the gym, and he showed me kind of a few things, and like I'm like, man, this shit makes you feel good, yo. Gets them endorphins going, and so that's like that's a big part of my life today. Not really huge, but like just exercise in general. I'm not like a crazy workout guy, but like I like going to the gym, man, just because it feels good. You get pumped up, and that's a big important part of feeling good and having fun in recovery to me. Like, and that's why like I say like taking care of ourselves and treating myself like my best friend, putting in work on myself. That is how I have fun, literally, and progressing in life, like physically, emotionally, spiritually. All these aspects come together, and like it just it provides a feeling that of security and like confidence and well-being and all these things that I learned how to do since I got here. Another thing too, like I was just talking about feelings of feeling less than and inferiority and stuff like that. Like I always didn't feel like as much of a man. Maybe that has something to do with like my father not being in the picture. I have no idea. I never even thought about it until I'm speaking right now. But like I didn't know how to do like man shit, like shoot guns and hunt and stuff like that, and like I've been able to do a lot of that stuff since I've been here, and it's still not really my thing, but like one thing that really kind of came to me in recovery and is a brand new passion of mine is like motorsports, cars, man. Like I bought this cool little Honda like, when I got clean, and it was a great car to me, and I was like, oh, cars are kind of cool, and then I like started. It was just kind of like a natural thing. Like I worked with this guy. I worked in the warehouse at this place, and this dude was the marketing manager there, and he drove a really cool car. And he was like, "Hey, I like your car," and I was like, "Oh, I like your car." And he drove a Nissan 350Z. It was really cool. And it's just funny how like the universe can kind of like draw people together. And so that was one of the things that like I found. And like today I have like a cooler car, you know, like I have goals, like I want to buy a different car and I want to get into drifting. And like that's the thing, like anything you want to do, you can fucking do. You know, it just takes time and hard work and dedication. And like I'm just so stoked, and I thrive like on the things that I like to do. And so yeah, I'm actually trying to buy that same car, Nissan 350Z, this fall, because I want to get into drifting, and I think it's fun. Like I go with my friend Adam, and I sit in his passenger seat, and it's fucking crazy. It's like sliding around these corners, like, oh my God, it's so much fun. It's so cool, and you get to do it all clean and like remember it all and be pure, and it's back to that like natural, like having fun as a kid again. So, but there's like a time and a place for it, right? You know. So I bought this car this past winter, and I frickin' got into a wreck in my work parking lot because I was sliding around in places that I shouldn't have been sliding around in. I hit my coworker's car. So, you know, that's a tough lesson that I needed to learn. But at the same time, it's like, you know, I can go through that, feel the pain, pay the money, and, like, go through that shit today and learn and, you know, throw spiritual principles on it. Because that's what I got to do. It's like, I'm not going to stop doing what I like, but I'm not going to slide around in, like parking lots anymore. I'm going to, like, save that for the track and, like, drive safe, like, on the road. You know, because that's what I'm meant to do. That's what recovery teaches me. Yeah. So, lost dreams awaken, new possibilities arise. When I got clean, I was working in restaurants as a dishwasher, and it was okay for a while. It was what I knew. You know, it was what I came into this program. It was the skill I knew, like kitchens and cooking food and washing dishes and stuff, and that's fine. That's cool. If you do that, that's awesome. If you like to do that, that's awesome. But I didn't like to do that. So I wanted to do something different. And so I found a job in a warehouse, and it was cool for a while. And I was like, okay, this is different. This is new and exciting. And then the warehouse started to not treat me very well. Or I didn't think so, at least, and so I got a job at a different warehouse. And today, like, I actually really like the place that I work at, but, like, I know it's not, like, what I was meant to be doing, you know? If you have that self-honesty, you can just look in and see, like, oh, hey, I don't really like what I'm doing. Like, I think I could be having fun somewhere else. And, like, today, I have the idea that, like, I can find, like, what I want to do and, like, a higher purpose for myself. And, like, today I'm going to school to be a nurse, you know, and that's really special to me, you know, and I think that's a lot of fun, and that gives me a really good feeling, you know, and, like, this is all about, like, the fun train does not stop. Like, this shit is fun to me, like, growing up, you know, being responsible, like being a productive member of society. This shit to me is fun, you know? Like, there's a time and a place for everything. Like, I can go to the track and drift, and I can, like, come back and be a nurse. You know, I can see myself in the future being a nurse, and, like, I'm just so blessed to have that today, that, like, I don't have those limiting beliefs holding me down saying, oh, you know, you'll never be that, you're not good enough. Fuck yeah, I made it to 20 minutes. So, like I said, though, you know, it's taken a lot of work for me to get to that place where I do feel good enough. You know, I know that I'm worth it. I know that I'm capable, and I know that each and every one of you are too. You know, and if you have that thing in you that says, oh, I could never do that, that's fucking bullshit. Like, divorce that story, dude. Like, for real, that shit is not real. That is crap that we've made up in our own minds, and, like, we are worth it today. You know what I mean? We can do, like, whatever our heart desires. And And for me, it took me a while to figure out, like, the direction that my life wanted to go. Like, actually, I'm not even going to go into that too deep. I'm just, like, I feel like I've carried, like, a decent little message here, and I hope I've inspired some people. And, you know, if not, that's cool. Like, I knew that I pushed myself outside of my comfort zone and was able to get up here and feel good about it. So, with that, that's all I have. Thank you.
Our next speaker is someone I have a lot of fun with. She opens her heart and her home to people in the fellowship to share her experience, her strength, her hope, and fun, and maybe a little bit of her husband's dorkiness too. And this is one of the women that I turn to and I think is like completely awesome in the program and gives so many of us hope. Our next speaker is Jen V.
Jen.
Addict named Jen.
Hey, Jen.
Unlike Dylan, I did write some things down that I'm probably either going to read directly like this and be done, or maybe not. I'm really honored to be out here today. I was having a little bit of fear and anxiety on the drive out here. I drove out this morning, and then I pull into Bel Air, and there's a sign that said MRCNA that way, and I was like, oh, these are my people. This is my family. And still a little bit nervous, but not quite as much. So does the fun train end? When Zach called me and gave me some topics, that was one of them. And he's like, I think you should do that one. And at first I was like, fun? Like, shit, what do I do for fun? But Dylan touched on a huge point of it's all about my perception, and oftentimes I find myself in a place where basically I'm not writing a gratitude list, I'm not thinking about the things that I have now. The what's this called? Beyond Our Wildest Dreams. Am I not loud enough?
Okay. You're good.
Okay. When I was using, I was scared to do anything new, anything at all. That insecurity, that the only thing that I knew, that little voice in my head to shut that up, was using. So I just always used to shut it up. I didn't feel good enough. What if I'm embarrassed? What do I wear? All these things. So I just never tried anything new, ever. I just did what was familiar to me. And then I couldn't afford anything fun either, Like, drugs are kind of expensive. My rent was $100 and I couldn't pay that. And I worked full time. My mom paid that for me. Cell phones weren't really around yet. So I had a $100 rent, a $60 car payment, and car insurance. I paid my $60 car insurance. That was it. And everything else went to using. And so that was one of the reasons that I wasn't able to go have fun also. I'm just too scared to try anything new. Dylan talked about a little bit as a kid, something I've learned in recovery and through my steps and working with my sponsor is that my childhood wasn't quite as bad as I thought that it was. I thought it would, it's all everyone else's fault. It was, if my parents hadn't got divorced, if my brother was an addict, things could have been so much different for me. But I've learned that it wasn't quite that bad, and I did have fun as a kid. And then I started using and lost all that. I lost that little kid in me. So there were some things, that I would have labeled as fun with using. But the reality is I don't remember what happened. Like, I would go to a concert and I would be at the bar the entire time. And I was like, oh my God, that was so much fun. Like, no, then I got home and drove. I drove. I could have killed someone. I could have killed myself. Like, that's not fun. That's insanity. And and I think some of that stuff too, it like falls into that cultural idea that, you know, drugs and alcohol can make more things fun. It can get rid of the boredom, you know, and so then when I came into recovery, my husband was here before me, and I remember him asking me one time, like, what do you like to do for fun? And I literally had absolutely no idea, and I didn't think that I was going to figure it out. I didn't think that I would be able to have fun without some kind of substance in my body. And it did take some time. It took a little bit of time. It took some work. I was able to try those new things, though, like push past that insecurity, push past that feeling of I'm not good enough, to try something new. And, you know, I've learned what I like and what I don't like, too. You know, like, I don't really like bowling, and that's okay. I will still go to the bowling alley when a group of people from NA are. But I don't enjoy that, and that's okay. That was another thing. I don't know if any of you in here do, but suffered from maybe a little bit of codependency. You know, like, whoever I was with, whoever I was hanging out with, that's what I liked. Like, oh, yeah, I love that. No, I didn't. Right. I didn't even know what the hell I loved. I didn't know who the hell I was. So then I come in here and, like, learn these things about myself. And, you know, I always knew that I wanted to be a mother. And then it happened for me. And it can be stressful, but I'll tell you what, it's damn fun. Yeah. It's really damn fun. Yeah. Right. To be able, and it's taken some time, but to be able to put my kids in an activity and see the joy that they have from that is fun. I didn't have that growing up. I was too scared. I was too scared at a young age, too. You know, I didn't want to put myself out there. I had fun as a kid. But, you know, when it came to, like, organized, you know, gymnastics or something, like, I was a little insecure little kid. And to be able to take my kids and help them through those that they have also. And maybe some of those things I planted in them, I hope not. You know, maybe they come from some of it naturally. But to be able to help them through that, to be able to recognize, be clear-headed enough to say, you know, you're acting a little off. What's going on? Let's talk about it. That's fun to me. You know, the fun now is the opposite of the escapist behavior that it was before. I was always trying to escape whatever I was feeling, and it's being fully present with the people and activities that I value now. And I'm not always great at it. I'm not always perfect at it, but I'm trying. And I'm getting better and better at it. I've also learned that I'm a very competitive person. I don't like losing so much. But, you know, that's okay too, because sometimes you're getting together with a group of addicts and you're playing a competitive game, and I act like an asshole sometimes. But I'm around people that are able to call me out on that, and I'm able to say, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry it came across that way. That wasn't my intent. I was wrong. Volleyball. 10 p.m. tonight. If you want to win, be on. No, I'm just joking. But it's so cool because it's like, you know, Chandra mentioned like opening my home up. We have a lot of people come over, especially in the wintertime. You know, winter's pretty dark and cold around here. And we have people over as often as we possibly can because it's like I did not think that I was going to be someone that liked board games. Or games, you know, like sitting around with people playing games. I'm like, church people do that, not me, you know. But what I found out is I do too. And it's fun. But man, I've seen some shit, you know. A couple weeks ago, there was one of my great friends left because I was an asshole, apparently. And it was like, I've seen other people do it too, you know, like, and they've never lost the friendship. They're just pissed off at each other for a little bit. And that's okay. It's an opportunity for growth. So next time, maybe they don't, I don't act that way, or they don't act that way. And yeah. Coloring with my kids, that was another thing. Like, I like being able to sit there and enjoy them and do some of the things that they like to do is very fun for me. I mentioned concerts earlier, concert choosing. I'll tell you what, a concert clean is one of the most awesome things I have ever experienced in recovery.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. I remember everything.
Yeah.
And that's a miracle in itself. You know? It's one of my favorite things to do. Music too, you know, like I really feel like I don't remember. That's part of the problem. But I don't think I listened to much music when I was using, or I probably did, but I was, gone, like so far gone. And it's like, there were times in early recovery that music got me through. You know, when you're calling people up and no one's answering, and all you have is your higher power, and music was one of the things that helped me. And that was awesome. Like, I can do that now. Using, like, I would also do the whole club scene, not up here. Northern Michigan doesn't have so much clubs, but I've lived in bigger cities before, and it was like, that was fun to me, like going to the club and getting all dressed out. Like now, like I'll just turn the music up really loud in the house with the kids and dance, and they have a great time. They love it. Traveling is not something that I get to do very often, but it's something that I'm able to now. I work full time, as does my husband, and we're able to put a little bit of money away. And I'm not saying that fun has to be about money, because it absolutely does not. Going for a walk around the block with my kids is fun. Going to the beach is fun. But there are some fun things that cost money too. And to be able to do that now is really, really awesome. The concerts. Me and a group of friends went to a convention at the New England convention. We went out to New York City. These are all, like, beyond our wildest dreams, right? Like, I didn't think that. I wanted that kind of stuff. I wanted the family. I wanted to be able to go on trips, but I didn't think that would ever happen for me. And it has, and it's awesome, and I love it. And then like, there's just the simple things. I was thinking about that. I'm like, I really enjoy and have fun going out to a restaurant with just me and my husband, or going to a new coffee shop and trying, a new coffee drink. Those kind of things that... Bubble tea, exactly. When we were on this trip out to New England, we discovered bubble tea, and it's like, we've literally had a bubble tea party at my house. Like, someone bought all the tapioca and everything, and we had bubble tea party. Like, I'm like, who am I? Who the hell am I? Like, I did not think that this is what my life would be. And I forget sometimes, with the stress of 3 children and the stress of marriage and the stress of work, how great I actually have it. And that's why I'm really, really glad to be able to be here and talk about fun, because it gave me that reminder that I do have a lot of damn fun because of all of you. Another thing is developing relationships with people that I held resentments with for a really long time, namely my parents. I have a relationship with my mother and father now, and it is not what I wanted it to be, and that's okay. They do the best that they can, and I'm doing the best that I can. And we've come together and developed some type of relationship. And that's beautiful. And that's fun. What else do I do for fun? Yeah, like I said, I'm a pretty competitive person. I'm also a go person, always on the go. And I've had to learn how to slow down a little bit sometimes. I like being around people. I like big groups of people. And my husband doesn't. Not at all. And I've had to learn to be okay. Sometimes going to those types of things by myself, I didn't think that was a possibility. I've yet to be to a movie by myself yet, and I'm actually looking forward to the day that I can go to a movie by myself. Like, I was always like, who does that, you know? Go to a movie by yourself? Like, weirdo, you know? No, not at all. Like, I can't wait for the day that I can go watch a movie by myself. I'm excited for that. But to just be able to slow down a little bit sometimes. I get up pretty early in the morning, and if I'm lucky, I'll give myself some time before I have to rush out the door to just enjoy my surroundings. We were able, very, very fortunate, to buy a house last year, and that was a stressful time. But to be able to set a goal and accomplish it is really fun. And I'm able now to, you know, we lived at this house before we bought it, and like just this year we like finally like, you know, saving a little bit of money to like put the yard together the way that we want it, you know, and like have people come over for a bonfire, you know. We made a fire pit, you know, and all this stuff like that wasn't expensive either, you know. Like we built that fire pit, you know, for like, I don't know, $40 or something, you know, and like to be able to enjoy what I have now. But yeah, like that's something that I realize that I don't always have to be on the go. I don't always have to be escaping these thoughts in my head that I still have. Just because I have some years clean and I work a program doesn't mean that they're not still there. But I don't have to escape them all the time. And, you know, like I said, it's just that being fully present with the people and activities I love. That's what fun is now. So yeah, like I said, I'm a competitive person who's trying to tone that down a little bit. Really, really enjoy the water. Like there's something about being in water that it's very peaceful and relaxing. And I have these people that, Chandra actually we went tubing Sunday, and she let me know, like, hey, I can help you with the kids because my husband couldn't go. And it's like, how awesome is that I have a friend that would say that to me, you know? Because sometimes I feel a little left out, you know, like, because I'm a married woman with 3 children, you know, and there's all these young people around, and they don't, you know, they don't have any responsibilities like I do. And I get a little jealous, you know, like, oh, man, they're having all the fun, you know? No, they're not, because I've been there too before, you know? It's life. It's So does the fun train end? I don't think so. Oh, another thing I really enjoy is like really getting into a TV show, man. I have some like TV shows that I'm into right now. It's like, leave me alone. I'm watching my show. It's Wednesday. I gotta go watch my show. I don't think I watched any shows except like Blow or something, you know. Like I'd watch like, like that was my favorite, you know. Yeah, I like movies. Blow. Yeah, it's all about your perception, and I forget that sometimes. I have the wrong one, and I have to get to a meeting or talk to another recovering addict to remember how good my life actually is, how fun my life actually is. How am I doing?
17 minutes.
17? 3 minutes? All right, 3 minutes.
Or 8, depending on how you look.
Okay, so I said I'm an asshole sometimes when I'm playing games because I'm so competitive. I just need to say that I'm not the only one. Because we got a phone call one night from another couple in recovery playing a game that we introduced them to. And she flipped the table over because they were. So I'm just saying that, you know, that kind of shit happens too. And that's okay. Guess what? They're still married.
Yeah.
Secret Mexican Train, actually. They're playing Mexican Train, and they got a little messed up on the rules. So, you know, I mean, this shit happens. We're a bunch of addicts, and we're, like, learning how to live, and, like, we have these character defects that come out, and sometimes they come out when we're having fun, and, you know, it's all okay. It's all part of the process. It's all part of the learning, and, yeah, so, I don't know. I think that's all I have. I'm really honored to be here talking about it. The fun train definitely does not end. It does take a little while to figure out what that looks like.
That's right.
And what that doesn't look like, too, you know. It doesn't look like bowling. really don't enjoy fishing so much, but fishing has to do with water. I like water. It's okay. It's all okay. So that's all I got. Thanks.